Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Yarnij, and welcome to Testimony Tuesday. Today I'm going to talk to you guys something that is near and dear to my heart. I didn't really want to talk about it until I continue to see the hand of God move, but I think it's so important for me to bring you to not only tell you about the testimonies after they happen, but sometimes um, through a testimony, God can still be moving. So I want to share with you guys, as the title says, we left Georgia. We relocated back to Florida, and it was something that we decided we had to do for ourselves and our family at the time. Um, because I got pregnant with the second child, we needed help. We didn't really have too much help, and majority of our family were a lot of miles away. So we decided to make that move, and it was scary. It was nervous. I didn't know if I was going to be making the right decision, and I didn't know if I was giving up by leaving. So I went back and forth a lot, with that decision or going back and forth because I had so much on my plate at the time of trying to make that decision. It was really, really rough, but it was a decision I had to make. I did go to friends and family asking them for their advice, but ultimately it was what I felt was best for what my husband and I felt was best for our family, our growing family. So it went back to the things that were holding me back to know if I should go back or not was I was helping take care of a family member who was getting treatments for illness that he had, and he was staying with me during his treatment, so I was helping care for him, and I was also, taking care of my child at home, to where I was like, didn't know, I didn't want to get in his way of what he had going on. But I spoke to him and was telling him how I thought, how I found I was pregnant. I'm thinking about going back to Florida. So, and he thought it was a good idea too, but it was still weighing on me to where I didn't want to be in his way for him to have somewhere to stay to go back and forth in his treatments. So I cried for like a lot of days, weeks, a month or so, trying to understand like what should I do, and I kept just getting this song kept coming to me, Yolanda Adams, "Be Still." So I was like, well, do I just stand still and just see what God's gonna do? But I felt like even though that song was saying "Be Still," it was like still make different moves to see if it's the right thing, right door, and if it is, the door will open. So I began to just say, or I began to try like make different moves. My At the end of taking my cousin to his treatments, my car started acting up. So the car was just sitting in the yard, and we was taking my husband's car. And then I was like, okay, so I was like, I have to get, how are we gonna pull this car? Well, if we do decide to go, so we was looking up quotes for U-Haul budget, um, I think it's like the pods where you could load the pods, and everything was just like super expensive. Like I think in the beginning they want to charge us almost like $1,000 to $1,500 for a one way. So I was like, well, maybe this isn't the right thing to do. So I would get back depressed and upset. But then I remember, I'm not alone. God is with me. So then I'll try different places. Then I was worrying about my son finding a pediatrician, because he already had a pediatrician here. Is someone gonna, am I gonna be able to find a pediatrician that's gonna, for his care? Then I was worried about how far along I was. I was like 20 weeks, 22 weeks. I was halfway through my pregnancy. Is anyone back home gonna want to um, take me on as far as I was? So it was just so many things just kept coming. I was like, we're gonna find a place. Started looking online, and everything was so expensive. Oh my goodness, everything was like at least $1,500 and up. And I was like, sheesh, like, and then I was a stay-at-home mom to where I was no longer working. My husband was doing everything, and I didn't want to put that burden on him having to pay that much. So we just kept looking, and then something told me to call my landlord from when I stayed in Florida before. And I called him, and he said he did not have anything available, that he will keep me in mind if he does. And I was like, oh my God, so maybe we have to, either we have to renew our lease here or look for another place. How are we going to do this? Because I was very sick. So I knew this pregnancy was going to be different. And it was just very rough on me. Even up to the 20 weeks, me being there by myself and caring for JJ, it was so hard. So I kept, I would stop looking. Then I would talk to family members, and they would, encourage me, and So then I went ahead and tried to get rid of my car. I said, well, maybe we won't pull the car. So I got rid of the car and so that car was eliminated. Then we kept looking around for U-Hauls and we ended up finding a guy, a U-Haul place that was literally right around the corner from where we were staying in Georgia, where he was going to charge us a fraction of the price. So he charges for one way no more than I think $500. I think it was 500 a little bit less. It was really a really good price. So that was like, okay, so if we do go, we have this. Then we need to find someone to help us move because we stayed on the third floor, guys. And we had like big furnitures, like big things. And my husband was no longer working at the moving company, so it was like, who is he going to get to help him? And so he contacted his friend, the guy from the moving company, and the owner, and he said he'll send some of his guys, but he has a job here to there. So um, it ended up happening to where, and I couldn't help him because I was like halfway pregnant. So it ended up to where a guy, sorry about that, guys. So it happened to be a friend of mine came up to see me before we were gonna leave, and his husband and she and her husband. She and her husband helped my husband as much as they could, and then it was a guy in the area saw Jermaine was like, "Oh, do you need some help?" So he helped him, and then eventually towards the end with the really big things, we were even gonna try to go and pay someone. We was looking online to look for a movie company to come and help us with the big things, and then as soon as the last minute, one of the guys that he used to work with came and helped him, and then I actually found a pediatrician for JJ in Florida. And then I was able to get in contact with my old OBGYN, and she was gladly to take me on, and everything just started like slowly working out. So then I had to have my mom fly up so that she could drive down with us because JJ wouldn't sit in the house. Like he was, I think, 6 or 8 months at the time, and he wasn't gonna sit back there while I'm driving, and Jermaine driving the U-Haul. So I had to have someone help me with that, and it was just so many different obstacles that tried to come up against it, but everything like just started lining up. Everything was just one thing after another. And then I wasn't sure if my lease. I didn't want to leave in my lease. I didn't know how much time I had in my lease, and my lease was up in July, so it was like perfect timing. And then with my cousin, that was like one of the biggest things on his way. I think in June to come up for another visit for treatments. He had to stop to the hospital because he wasn't feeling too well before he came to my home, and things weren't looking good to where God called him home. And I, as it was just so sad, it was a really rough time. Like I didn't have to feel, I wasn't like, oh my God, okay, I don't feel like I'm neglecting him. So it's just things, God just kept moving things out of the way, kept opening different doors. And then the landlord called me back a month later saying that he had a place come available and that it would be, he was telling how much it was going to be. I think he wanted like last security and the next another fee. But by him knowing me, he said, oh, well, I'll let you pay it, in between with your rent. But I didn't want to, I didn't want to do that because that was going to be like paying like freaking $1,500. So then we was like, well, now we got to come up with this money on top of moving money, on top of expense on paying last month's rent, paying all our utilities, everything, and on top of trying to move. So we had to come up with all this money, and then it was like, how are we going to come up with all this money that he wants us to move to this place? And then God opened the door to where we didn't even have to pay a dime to move into the place that we're in now. And then on top of that, we paid half the rent that we paid in Georgia, and we paid half the rent that I paid when I rented from him before. And on top of that, I didn't even know that the place he had available was a same mock-up of my place that I stayed when I was in Florida before. Like, we literally stay on the same street, and there's just a house in between me and my old apartment. And it's not like an apartment complex. It's like more like homes, like duplexes. And I guess whoever built it built two of the same kind. And the one we're in now is the exact same. Just there's no carpet. It's all tiled throughout. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and then the master bathroom is in the tub. It's a stand-up shower, walk-in closet. Everything's the same. Only thing that's different is all tile, and then my shower is a stand-up. And I'm literally like a house in between my old house. Like, it's amazing. And I pay half the rent. Like, it's just such a blessing. So it's just like, God just is incredible. God's love is just, oh my God, it's just undescribable, unexplainable, and it's just like, I just so grateful. And so we had to come back, because and I'm receiving so much help from my friends and family. Like, I'm just so grateful because even when I did come back down here, I was exhausted all the time. So the times when family members will ask for JJ, it was such a blessing. Even now that they're both here, I get a little bit of a break. So it's just, it was a really, it was a move that needed to be made. The time there had come to an end to where we had to come because we needed help from family. And I'm so grateful, and I'm so grateful to God that He made that He opened the doors. Every time I tried to go, go a different way, He opened the door. So I'm so grateful. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I know you guys like saw like my background is different. Like, did she move to another apartment? Like, where's she at? So I finally wanted to explain and tell you guys like what's going on. But yeah, we relocated from Georgia back to Florida, Fort Myers, Florida. And who knows how long we'll be here. We'll probably be gone again. We don't know. We'll see what God has in store. And I'm so excited to see what He has in store. And I want to wait until I see what He does next. But I want to bring you guys along to, so you guys can see and watch God's hand move. And it's just how incredible He is. And He loves me as much as He loves you. So I know He can do the same and do even more for you guys. So guys, I want you to be inspired. And I love you guys for watching. And yeah, so that's it. So like we're literally like back in the same place. Like, it's insane. And we pay half the rent, dude. Like, it's unbelievable. And we have not had to purchase diapers or wipes yet. Like, and JJ is 1.5, Kenzie is 4 months. So it's just a blessing from God, and I'm forever grateful. So I hope this inspires you and encourage you not to give up. And if you're trying to like do anything, just make way, stand still in your mind and your heart, but make those strides to try to do what you're doing. And if God opens the door, run through that thing, and just keep going, keep pressing, and keep believing, and keep trusting. I love you guys so much. Until next time, peace and love.